Welcome back, everyone, to Book to Riches. Today we're going to do a deep dive into the psychology of money
Oh, yeah.
by Morgan Housel.
I love that book.
Yeah, it's such a good one, and I think this is going to be a really practical deep dive for everybody listening because the book is just jam-packed with genuinely useful advice about how to build wealth and manage money.
It is. Then it
so,
all starts with understanding our own psychology around money. Like, how do we think about it?
so where should we start with this one? The book covers so much ground.
Well, why don't we kick off with the story of Ronald Reed,
Okay.
the janitor who became a multimillionaire.
Okay, wait, I have to hear this.
Yeah.
A janitor,
Yeah.
a multimillionaire. How's that even possible?
Right. So Reed worked as a gas station attendant
Right.
and then a janitor,
Okay.
lived a super frugal life,
Okay.
bought a modest home for like $12,000 back in the day,
Wow.
and lived there for decades.
Okay.
No fancy cars, no lavish vacations.
So how did he amass an $8 million fortune?
It's actually pretty amazing.
Yeah.
He understood the power of compounding. He invested consistently in blue chip stocks
Okay.
and just let his investments grow for decades.
Oh.
And that's really it.
Time is the secret ingredient.
Time is the secret sauce.
So it's not about like getting lucky or, winning the lottery.
No,
It's about slow and steady growth over time.
it's the boring stuff.
And I think a lot of people listening, I think that's really encouraging because, we all know that like the quick rich schemes are not real,
Right.
but like,
Most of us can do the boring stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
And it's something that anybody could do.
That's right.
You don't have to be a Wall Street wizard or anything.
Exactly.
Just like discipline and consistency.
You know what's interesting? That actually leads us to a big theme in the book, which is that financial success is less about like complex math and formulas.
Yeah.
It's really more about psychology.
Interesting.
Yeah. So like, how do we think about money?
Right.
Right.
That makes sense. Like we're all products of our own experiences. Right.
Exactly.
So how does that affect our financial decisions?
Even though those experiences are just a tiny snapshot of history,
Right.
It's like 80% of our worldview on money is shaped by just like a sliver of what's happened.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So it's like we don't have a full view.
Yeah.
We just have our own little tiny sliver.
And so how did that translate into like actual practical advice for managing money?
Well, think about the example in the book about lottery tickets.
Okay.
The book makes this really interesting observation.
Okay.
It points out that the people who often can least afford lottery tickets spend the most on them.
Yeah, I've seen that. But
It's totally irrational, right?
Yeah. Like if you're struggling financially, why would you spend money on something like that?
Right.
It's like the opposite of what you should be doing.
Right. Well, the thing is, hope, the dream of a life-changing win, is a really powerful motivator.
Yeah.
So it's like from their perspective, it makes sense.
Yeah. So you're saying it's not just about the numbers.
Right.
It's about understanding the psychology.
It's the psychology
behind why people make the decisions they do.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. I mean, you think you're being rational.
Right.
But, we're all susceptible to these biases and emotions that can
I love
totally mess with our financial decisions.
It's like becoming aware of that
Right.
is the first step.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Something I've always struggled with, I reach a financial goal and I immediately set a new one, usually bigger.
Oh, the goalpost illusion.
Yeah, is that what it's called?
The book talks about that.
Okay, so I'm not the only one that experiences this.
No,
okay.
you're not alone.
It's like I'm on a treadmill and I can never get off.
And it's often because we're comparing ourselves to others who have even more.
It's a never-ending cycle.
It's the classic comparison trap.
Right, like the rookie baseball player in the book.
Right.
He's making a decent salary, but he compares himself to,
to Mike Trout.
To Mike Trout, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, then Mike Trout's probably comparing himself to, like...
Right, to some hedge fund manager.
Right, and that hedge fund manager's like...
Bill Gates.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So how do we break free from this, like constant comparison?
The book suggests that it starts with defining what enough means to you.
Okay.
What are your own financial goals?
Yeah.
What are your priorities? Why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Don't let external benchmarks or what other people are doing dictate your financial happiness.
Oh, I like that. That's good. It's a good takeaway.
Yeah, it's about taking control of your own financial narrative
Yeah.
and defining success on your own terms.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so That leads us to another big principle in the book, which is harnessing the power of compounding.
Okay, compounding. This is something I'm eager to dig into.
Yeah.
I've heard about it, but I don't know if I fully...
It's like magic.
Understand it, yeah.
It really is.
Okay.
The best analogy I've ever heard is it's like a snowball rolling down a hill.
Okay, I like that.
It starts small.
Okay.
But as it picks up momentum, it grows exponentially.
Yeah.
And the book actually uses a really cool analogy about the formation of ice ages.
Okay, how does that relate to money?
Yeah. So imagine like a summer that's just slightly cooler than usual.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of snow that doesn't melt.
Okay.
It might seem insignificant, right?
A little bit of snow.
That unmelted snow makes it easier for more snow to accumulate the following winter, which then increases the chances of even more snow surviving the next summer, and so on.
Okay, so it just kind of like keeps building on itself.
It's like a chain reaction.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
A small initial change leads to a massive outcome over time.
Oh, okay, so that's what compounding is.
That's compounding.
Okay, got it.
It's the same with investing.
Okay.
Right? Those consistent long-term investments, they start small, but they grow significantly over time.
So it's not necessarily about like getting the highest return.
It's about time.
It's about giving it the time to snowball.
Exactly.
Okay.
And the book uses a great example of this with Warren Buffett.
Oh, of course.
You know, he's widely considered one of the greatest investors of all time.
Yeah.
But the majority of his wealth was actually accumulated after his 50th birthday.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so it just shows you.
Okay, so it's about being a good investor for a long time.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
It underscores the importance of starting early, even with small amounts, and just letting those investments compound over decades.
Makes sense, yeah. So this has been really eye-opening.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how the psychology of money is like actually just as important as knowing.
It's arguably more important.
Yeah, maybe even more important than the actual, formulas and strategies and whatnot.
Right, because if you don't understand your own psychology, you're going to make decisions that are going to sabotage you.
Right, exactly.
In the long run.
Okay, yeah, this is really good. I'm feeling more empowered already.
I love it. That's what we want.
Yeah, to take control of my financial future.
Absolutely, and there's so much more to unpack.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back with more from the psychology of money.
Sounds good.
All right, welcome back to Book to Riches. We're continuing our deep dive into the psychology of money.
We were just talking about compounding and the power of long-term investing.
Yeah, and I think that naturally leads us to the next big topic, which is like, okay, so you've built some wealth.
Yeah.
Now, how do you stay wealthy?
Right.
How do you, not lose it all?
How do you make it last?
Yeah.
Right.
Is that even possible?
Yeah.
Right, because you hear all those stories of, lottery winners going broke or, athletes and celebrities.
Yeah, musicians.
Yeah, musicians,
Right.
that make all this money and then they
lose it.
They lose it all.
Yeah.
So, how do you avoid that?
Well, the psychology of money actually dives into this.
Okay.
With some really compelling examples.
Okay.
Think about Jesse Livermore.
Okay.
This legendary stock trader.
Okay. Yeah.
Made and lost fortunes.
Wow.
Multiple times.
Okay.
Throughout his life.
So even someone who was, incredibly good at making money.
Yeah.
Could still lose it all.
Yeah, I mean.
What went wrong?
Livermore was a genius at reading market trends.
Okay.
And making bold bets.
Sure.
But he often succumbed to overconfidence and risky behavior.
It sounds like he let his emotions
his emotions
get the best of him.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And the book contrasts him with Abraham Jermansky,
a
real estate developer, who also had a really interesting story.
Okay.
He built a huge fortune.
Okay.
But then lost it all in the 1929 stock market crash.
Okay.
So you have these two guys.
Yeah.
Totally different industries, different backgrounds.
But they both lost everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the lesson there?
The lesson is about
Okay.
financial resilience.
Okay.
It's not just about hitting a certain number.
Right.
It's about building a fortress.
Oh, I like that.
Around your wealth. Avoiding financial ruin, managing risk, and developing this mindset of preservation.
It's like that saying, it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the market.
Exactly. It's the same principle.
Okay.
But applied to staying wealthy.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that leads us to another crucial thing about financial freedom.
Okay.
And it's using your wealth
to
buy back your time.
Oh, that's good.
And create options for yourself.
Okay. I mean, I think back to like my investment banking internship.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, the money was great. I was making a lot of money. But like the hours were insane.
Yeah.
And I was just like completely burned out.
You're treating your life for dollars.
Yeah, exactly. And it just made me question, like, what's the point of having all this money?
Right. If you have no time or energy.
Yeah, if I can't even enjoy it. Right.
Right. The psychology of money really emphasizes that true financial freedom isn't just about your bank account. It's about having control over your time, creating a life that aligns with your values.
So like financial freedom is about more than just like numbers. It's about like having the flexibility to pursue your passions or spend time with your family.
Yeah, reduce stress.
Yeah, just like design a life that you actually want to live.
You got it.
I like that. But let's be honest, sometimes like managing your money, making these financial decisions, it can feel really overwhelming.
It can. Yeah. Especially today.
Yeah.
With all the information out there.
Yeah. You feel like you need a PhD in finance to even figure it out.
You feel like you have to be perfectly rational all the time.
Right. And I thought that was like the key to financial success was just like being rational.
It's important.
Okay.
But the psychology of money makes this really interesting point. It delves into behavioral economics, which shows that we're all susceptible to emotions and biases, and those things can cloud our judgment.
Yeah.
It tells the story of this Nobel Prize-winning doctor, Julius Wagner Jareg, and he treated syphilis by inducing fevers in his patients. So it was this risky, counterintuitive approach, but it actually worked. So sometimes, like, the most quote-unquote optimal choice might not be the best for our emotional well-being or our ability to stick with a plan long-term.
Okay, so you're saying it's okay to deviate from perfect rationality.
The book calls it pretty reasonable. It's like, you know, finding a balance between logic and our human need for emotional well-being.
Pretty reasonable. Yeah, I can relate to that because I sometimes get so caught up in researching the absolute best investment or financial strategy that I end up just not doing anything.
Analysis paralysis. That's what they call it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The key is to find that balance.
Right.
Do your research. Be informed.
Yeah.
But don't let the pursuit of perfect rationality prevent you from taking action.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay.
And this actually brings up another aspect of investing that makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Okay, what is it?
Uncertainty.
Okay.
It's like nobody likes
uncertainty. It's like the not knowing what's going to happen.
Right. The book says volatility is the fee you pay for accessing higher returns.
Okay, now that's an interesting way to look at it. Instead of like fearing those market swings, we should actually see them as like the cost of entry to potentially grow your wealth over time.
Think of it like paying an admission fee to a theme park.
Okay, I like that analogy. Okay, yeah, so you're saying market fluctuations are like a natural part of the process, and if we try to avoid them entirely, we might actually be...
You're going to miss out on the growth.
Okay.
Right? So...
You got to accept the ups and downs.
Yeah, get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Embrace the volatility.
Okay, yeah.
That's part of it.
Okay.
And that leads us to a really surprising insight from the book.
Okay, what is it?
The power of stories.
Stories. Now, how do stories play into finance?
The book explains how stories, especially ones driven by pessimism or fear, can have a huge impact on market trends and investor behavior.
Okay, yeah, like we all know that like fear and greed can like really drive the markets.
Totally, and the book uses this really great example of the Wright brothers.
Oh, okay.
And their invention of the airplane.
Okay, so how does that relate to finance?
So they achieved powered flight
in 1903.
Okay.
But it took years for the public and the media to really grasp the significance.
Okay. Like people just didn't believe it was possible.
It was so revolutionary.
Yeah.
It didn't fit the narrative of what was considered possible.
So the story or like the lack of a story actually held back the recognition of their achievement.
Exactly.
Whoa. Oh, wow.
It wasn't until an Army lieutenant died in a plane crash in 1908 that the Wright brothers and their invention started to get widespread attention.
It's like it took a tragedy.
It often takes a really dramatic event to change the narrative.
Okay, so the takeaway is that we need to be aware of how stories are influencing our financial decisions.
And whether they're grounded in reality or not.
Okay, so we got to be critical thinkers and not let these fear-driven narratives control our choices.
Exactly.
Okay, this is...
And speaking of risk,
the
book also talks about how our perception of risk often differs from reality.
Okay, well, risk is a big one.
Big one.
For anybody that's managing money.
The book makes this point that risk isn't always about what we can predict or quantify. It's often about the things we can't.
The unknown unknowns.
Right. Like, how do you even prepare for something you can't imagine?
Right, exactly. That's the hard part.
Well, the book uses the example of Warren Buffett. And he was looking for a successor, and he wanted someone who was genetically programmed to recognize and avoid serious risks, including those never before encountered.
Wow.
So he's basically saying, like...
So he wants somebody with like a sixth sense.
Right. He wants someone who can spot danger, even when it comes from places you don't expect.
Wow.
Right?
Is that even possible?
Well, I mean, it highlights the point that it's not just about managing the known risks, but also preparing for the unexpected.
The black swan event.
Exactly. And the book gives some examples of these unforeseen risks that startups encounter. Like everything from a honeybee shortage disrupting a company's supply chain to Google changing their algorithm and wiping out a business's website traffic.
So it's like...
It could be anything.
Anything. It could be something totally unrelated, and then it has this ripple effect.
You just never know what's going to happen.
So how do we protect ourselves from that?
Well, the book says diversification is key, not just in your investments, in your thinking and planning. So
like having multiple streams of income.
That could be one aspect of it, but it's also about like what if scenarios, you know, like what if this happens? What if that happens?
Contingency plans.
Contingency plans, you know, like anticipate the unexpected and have a plan in place.
So it's like building a fortress.
That's right.
That can withstand not just the storms, but also like the earthquakes.
The earthquakes, you just never know.
I like that.
It's going to happen.
And this kind of leads to another interesting concept from the book, which is this tendency to underestimate how much will change over time.
Right. The book calls it the end of history illusion.
So like our goals and values are constantly evolving.
Exactly. It's this tendency to overestimate the stability of our preferences.
And underestimate how much will change in the future.
It's like when we were kids and we thought we knew everything and we were so cool. But looking back, we realized
totally different
how much we've changed.
But how does this relate to money?
Well, it can be really detrimental to long-term financial planning. Because imagine making decisions based on a version of yourself that no longer exists.
That's a recipe for disaster.
You might end up locked into financial plans or commitments that don't serve you anymore.
That makes sense.
So the book emphasizes the importance of recognizing that our financial plans, like ourselves, need to be adaptable and they need to evolve over time.
Oh, that's a good one. So it's not about creating a rigid financial plan set in stone.
It's more about like a framework that can be adjusted as your life unfolds.
I like that. Be proactive. Adjust as needed.
That's right. And that actually leads us to another point, which is that financial success isn't always about making the quote-unquote right decisions.
Well, we all make mistakes.
Exactly. Even the most accomplished people make mistakes. It's about learning from those mistakes and continuing to move forward.
So it's not about being perfect. It's about being resilient.
That's it.
I like that.
And the book actually gives this great example of Jeff Bezos.
The CEO of Amazon.
CEO of Amazon. And he openly acknowledges that his company is, quote, working on much bigger failures right now.
Oh, wow.
Than the Fire Phone.
Wow. Okay, so...
Which was a total flop.
Even someone like Jeff Bezos is like...
one of the most successful entrepreneurs.
Yeah, the richest man in the world.
Yeah.
He still experiences setbacks and failures.
He embraces it.
Okay.
He views it as part of the process.
Okay, so the takeaway there is that successful people aren't defined by a lack of mistakes.
It's their ability to learn.
And adapt.
And keep going.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's power.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Failures are just stepping stones, right?
Just stepping stones.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So this is good. This is encouraging.
And this leads to another really important point the book makes.
Okay.
Which is that financial advice is often not personalized.
Well, yeah, that makes sense because we all have different...
Exactly. We all
have unique circumstances.
Different goals.
Different goals, different risk tolerances.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So, like, what works for one person might not.
It's like going to the doctor.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect the same treatment plan for every patient.
Right. Okay, so you're saying be cautious about, like, blindly following.
Right. Those generic financial advice.
Top 10 tips.
You're
rich quick. You gotta understand your own needs.
Yeah.
Your own priorities.
My risk tolerance. Yeah, your risk tolerance.
Right, right. It's personal.
Yes. Personal finance is personal.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay. So it's about taking ownership.
Yeah, making choices that are right for you.
Yeah, not just doing what everybody else is doing.
Right, not following the herd.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of, like, the things that are outside of our control.
Right.
You know, I think it's also important to acknowledge the role of, like, luck and risk.
Luck and risk.
Right.
Totally.
Because sometimes it feels like that's...
Sometimes it's just dumb luck.
Yeah, it's like you made all the right decisions.
You did everything right.
Yeah, you did everything right, and then something bad happened.
And it all went to hell.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Right. Or you made a bunch of bad decisions, and then somehow you came out on top.
Yeah, somehow you made a ton of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, the book says it's really important to acknowledge the role of those things.
Okay. Okay. So you're saying, like, have humility when things are going well.
Okay.
And have compassion when they aren't.
Right. Because sometimes it's not even your fault.
Yeah.
Or it's not even to your credit.
Sometimes it's just the universe.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And that brings us to a really fundamental question that the book asks.
Okay.
What does enough mean to you?
Oh, wow. That is a big question.
A deep question.
Yeah, I think a lot of people struggle to
answer that.
Yeah, to answer that.
Right.
What's enough?
Like, when are you satisfied?
Right.
And the book says that true financial satisfaction often comes not from having more, but from wanting less.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so it's the shift from accumulating to appreciating.
Okay.
Right.
So instead of always wanting more and more.
Right, and bigger.
Yeah, bigger, better.
And better.
It's like appreciate what you have.
Yeah.
And find contentment. Okay. And align your financial goals with your values.
Yeah. Okay. That's a powerful shift in perspective.
It is.
Yeah. Because we live in a world that's, like, constantly telling us we need more.
Yeah. More, more, more.
More, more.
Yeah.
And that's what leads to, like...
Right. It's a never-ending
comparison trap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it actually prevents us from ever feeling satisfied.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's a recipe for, like, unhappiness.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, appreciate what you have.
Right. What does enough mean to you?
Yeah, enough is enough. Okay.
And that actually leads us to a very unique perspective that the book offers on saving.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because we hear a lot about saving.
Yeah, everybody says save.
Yeah, save, save, save.
Save, save. But what's different
What's so special
about the book's take on saving?
Yeah.
Well, it goes beyond just like, you know, known expenses or future goals.
Right. It says saving is about creating a buffer for life's inevitable surprises.
Okay, well, yeah, life does throw us curveballs.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Job loss.
Medical emergency.
You know. Yeah. Car breaks down.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's like those unexpected events can really derail.
Really.
Even the best financial plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so savings aren't just for achieving goals. They're like a safety net.
Yeah, it's a buffer.
Okay.
It's recognizing that life is unpredictable.
Okay.
And you need a cushion.
Yeah.
So that you can adapt.
It's not saving for a rainy day. It's saving for a hailstorm.
Yeah. I love that. Saving for a hailstorm.
Yeah.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay.
And this actually ties into another really big theme that runs through the whole book.
Okay.
Which is aligning your financial decisions with your values.
Okay. Yeah. I think we've touched on that a couple times.
Yeah, it's a central theme. It's saying use your money as a tool to design a life that reflects your priorities,
Okay.
not the expectations of others.
Okay, so money is a means to an end.
Right. It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's not the end goal in itself.
Yeah, I like that. It should support the things
Yeah.
that are important to you.
That's right.
Yeah, spending time with family,
Mhm.
pursuing your passions.
Yeah, your hobbies.
Giving back to...
Yeah, contributing to causes.
Yeah, exactly.
You care about.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's about making sure your financial decisions are actually in harmony with your values.
Okay.
And they're creating a life that's fulfilling and meaningful.
Okay, financial success is not just about
Right.
your portfolio.
It's about a quality of your life.
The quality of your life. I like that. Okay, that's good.
And this leads to another interesting observation that the book makes about pessimism. Yeah. Especially when it comes to...
We do tend to hear...
finance and economics.
A lot of negative news.
We do.
Yeah.
It's like the book explores this.
Okay.
It says part of it stems from our evolutionary wiring.
Oh, interesting.
You know, we're wired to focus on threats as a means of survival.
Okay, yeah.
But it's also fueled by the media because negative events are more captivating. They grab our attention.
Yeah, they get more clicks.
Right.
Right, okay.
So it's important to be aware of the risks.
Okay.
But we don't want to let pessimism paralyze us.
Right. Or distort our view.
And distort our view of reality.
Okay, so.
Yeah, it's about having a balanced perspective.
Right. It's not all doom and gloom.
It's not all doom and gloom.
Okay.
There are also amazing opportunities out there.
And there's good and bad, I guess.
Good and bad. That's right.
Yeah. And speaking of perspectives, the book also digs into like the power of
narratives.
Yeah, narratives to shape our view.
Yeah, like how do stories influence our understanding of the world?
Yeah, especially when it comes to...
Yeah, especially when it comes to money.
Yeah, money, finance.
Right, like remember the example of the Wright brothers?
Yeah, they did something incredible.
Yeah, but nobody believed them at first.
Didn't fit.
It didn't fit the existing narrative.
Yeah.
So it shows how powerful these stories can be in shaping our beliefs and our behavior.
So the takeaway there is... recognize the influence of those narratives.
Yeah.
Be willing to challenge them.
Yeah. Question them.
Yeah, especially if they don't.
Yeah, when they no longer serve you or align with reality.
Yeah. Okay, that's... Wow, I feel like we could talk about the psychology of money for hours.
Yeah, there's so much in there.
Yeah. And I think we've just scratched the surface.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think we've also uncovered like some really practical and actionable insights that people can actually use in their lives.
That's the goal.
Right. Yeah. So as we wrap up, let's distill like some of the key takeaways that really resonated with us.
Yeah.
That could actually make a difference.
Okay.
For the listeners.
One that really stood out to me was this idea that financial success isn't just about being brilliant.
Oh, right.
It's not about having the perfect strategy.
Right.
It's really about how we behave with money.
Yeah, it's our habits.
Our habits.
Our stories we tell ourselves.
Yeah.
Right? We get so caught up in like, you know, finding that hot stock tick or trying to...
time the market.
Yeah, time the market, yeah.
Right.
When really, it's our own behavior.
Right.
That's the biggest factor.
Right. And the good news is we have more control over that.
Exactly.
Than we think we do.
Yeah, we can control.
Yeah. So building good habits, like consistent saving, long-term investing.
Right. That's something we can all do.
Anyone can do that.
Yeah. That's empowering, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
It takes away the mystery.
Yeah. And you know, we talked about Ronald Reed.
Yeah, the janitor.
The janitor.
Who became a millionaire.
Yeah, he didn't have any secret formula.
He was just consistent.
He was patient.
Yeah.
He let that power of compounding work.
He let time do its thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess for the listener out there, right?
Yeah.
Who's maybe feeling overwhelmed or intimidated by all this financial stuff.
Right.
What's like one action they could take right now based on the psychology of money?
I would say start small.
Okay.
Even if it's $5 a week.
Yeah.
Set up an automatic investment into a low-cost index fund. It's not about finding the perfect investment.
Okay.
It's about getting started.
Okay.
And building that habit of consistency.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good one. That's really actionable.
Yeah. And that leads to another takeaway, which is managing risk.
Okay.
Not just chasing returns.
Right. And I think the book really emphasizes that.
Absolutely.
It's not just about getting rich.
It's about staying rich.
Yeah. How to stay wealthy.
Right. So that means accepting volatility.
Yeah.
Right. It's part of the game.
It's part of the game, yeah.
But it also means avoiding those catastrophic mistakes.
Right, they could, like, wipe you out.
That could ruin you.
Yeah.
Right? Like those examples of Jesse Livermore.
Yeah.
And Abraham Germansky.
Who made and lost fortunes.
Yeah. They were brilliant.
Yeah.
But they didn't manage their risk well.
Right. They didn't protect what they had built.
Yeah. You got to build a fortress.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that analogy. Okay. So financial advice is not one size fits all.
One size fits all, no. Yeah.
Right. And I think the psychology of money really drives that point home.
It says, don't blindly follow generic advice.
Right. Because
figure out what works for you.
Based on my own circumstances.
Your goals, your risk tolerance.
Right. Yeah. It's like
your personality.
Those top 10 investing tips articles.
But those are starting point.
Okay.
But you got to figure out what resonates with you.
Yeah. What aligns with my values.
Exactly.
Right. My situation.
Yeah, don't just take it as gospel.
Okay, so self-reflection is key.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before you make any big financial decisions, ask yourself.
Does this fit me?
Yeah. Does this fit me?
Right.
Does it align?
Yeah, your goals.
Yeah. Okay. And speaking of things that are kind of outside of our control, the book also talks about luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, so acknowledge the role of luck.
Both good and bad.
Yeah, because we tend to attribute success to skill and hard work.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's
just dumb luck.
Yeah, right place, right time.
Right place, right time.
Yeah. And then on the flip side, sometimes we judge failures as like purely bad decisions.
Yes, you messed up.
Yeah. When really
it was just
bad luck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So be humble.
Be humble in the good times.
Yeah.
Be compassionate.
Yeah, be kind to yourself.
Yeah.
When things go wrong.
Let's say, so it's all about perspective.
It's all about perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and this ties into another really empowering takeaway from the book, which is defining what
does enough mean to you?
Yeah, enough means to you. Right, we live in a society.
Yeah, it's like a constant.
Yeah, it's like always wanting more.
More, more, more.
Bigger, better, you know?
Yeah, the book says true financial satisfaction
comes from wanting less.
Okay, so it's a shift from accumulation.
Yeah, appreciating.
Yeah, appreciation and gratitude.
Gratitude, exactly.
Yeah, for what you have.
What you have.
Focus on the experiences.
Your relationship.
Yeah, let go of that comparison trap.
Yeah,
enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
I like that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so as we wrap up this deep dive into the psychology of money, I want to leave the listeners with one final thought.
Okay, I love it.
Okay, so it's actually a question.
Right.
Inspired by the book.
Get me.
Okay, so now that you've heard all these insights, what are the stories
Oh, good question.
you're telling yourself about money?
Yeah, I love that.
Are they empowering you or are they holding you back?
Powerful.
Right, because if you believe that you're not good with money or that wealth is out of reach,
you're going to act in ways that confirm those beliefs.
Yeah, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
It is,
But what if we start telling ourselves different stories?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Stories of abundance, smart choices, you know, building a life we love with the resources we have.
You got it.
That's when the real magic happens.
That's where the transformation begins.
I love that.
Yeah. The psychology of money isn't just about managing money.
Right.
It's about managing our minds.
Our minds.
Around money. And that's the key.
To
unlocking true financial freedom.
Okay. I think that's a perfect note to end on.
Beautiful.
So I hope this deep dive into the psychology of money has been helpful and inspiring. Remember, it's not just about the numbers.
Right.
It's about understanding yourself.
Yeah.
Making smart choices.
Yeah. Align your decisions with your values.
Yeah. And building a life
that
aligns with your values.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for joining us on another episode.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Of Book to Riches.